Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to speak with you today. Today's presentation is titled Managing GMP Audit, and I'm excited to share insights and strategies on this important topic. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the key aspects of GMP audits, how to prepare effectively, and what best practices you can implement to ensure success. Let's get started. Good manufacturing practice, or GMP, is a crucial part of quality assurance. It's essentially the system that makes sure our products are made and controlled in a consistent and reliable way. This consistency is vital because it helps us maintain high quality and safety standards. And of course, this can only happen if we have clear, detailed instructions for how everything should be done. GMP specifically targets risks like cross-contamination and mix-ups. These are issues that testing the final product alone can't fully prevent or catch. So, the key is to control these risks right from the start, through a well-managed system of working. This means designing our quality checking processes with these risks in mind, and making sure they are set up to detect any errors that might slip through. By doing so, we ensure that every step in production aligns with our quality goals, helping us deliver safe and effective products consistently. When planning an effective audit, there are several key considerations we need to keep in mind. First, resources are fundamental. This includes not just the physical tools and financial support, but also the human resources, our auditors themselves. We need to assess whether we have the right people with the necessary skills available to carry out the audit effectively. Next, audit techniques are crucial. Choosing the right methods ensures we gather accurate, relevant information and can identify areas for improvement. It's important to tailor our techniques to the specific context of each audit. Processes also play a vital role. We should establish clear procedures to help auditors develop and maintain their competence over time. Ongoing training and performance evaluations are essential to keep skills sharp and to continuously improve. Another consideration is the competency and availability of auditors. We need to ensure our team members are not only skilled, but also have enough time allocated to perform thorough audits without feeling rushed. Finally, the available time for auditing itself is a critical factor. Proper time management allows us to conduct comprehensive audits that yield meaningful insights, rather than superficial checks. All these factors, resources, techniques, processes, competency, availability, and time, are interconnected. They form the foundation for a successful audit program that supports our overall goals of quality and continuous improvement. Let's take a closer look at the flow chart of an audit. As you can see, it provides a visual overview of the entire process, helping us understand how each step connects to the next. Starting from planning, where we define the scope and objectives, we move into the fieldwork phase, gathering evidence and evaluating controls. Then, we analyze the findings, identify issues, and finally, we prepare the report. This flow chart is essential because it highlights the logical sequence of activities, ensuring that nothing is overlooked. It also reminds us of the importance of each step in maintaining the integrity and thoroughness of the audit. Overall, this visual helps us see how a structured approach leads to effective and reliable audit outcomes, tying directly into our broader goal of ensuring accountability and transparency. Now, let's take a closer look at the overview of audit activities. In this part of the presentation, I want to highlight the key points that define what an audit entails. Essentially, audit activities involve a systematic review and evaluation of an organization's financial statements, processes, and controls. The goal is to ensure accuracy, compliance, and to identify areas for improvement. We'll cover various stages, from planning and risk assessment to testing and reporting. Each step is crucial because it helps us gather evidence, assess risks, and ultimately provide assurance to stakeholders. Connecting this to the overall theme, understanding these activities is fundamental because it underscores the integrity and transparency of the organization. It's about building trust and ensuring that everything is functioning as it should. So, as we go through this overview, Keep in mind that these activities are the backbone of effective governance and accountability. They ensure that the organization remains compliant, efficient, and ready to address any issues proactively. Let's start by forming our audit team, making sure we clearly assign roles and responsibilities to each member. It's essential that everyone understands their specific tasks and the overall scope of the audit so we can work efficiently and effectively. Once the team is set, we move on to conducting a thorough document review. This involves examining key documents such as SOPs, previous audit findings, and records of corrective and preventive actions. Our goal here is to verify the integrity of the quality system and ensure that the controls in place are functioning properly. Next, we focus on preparing for the on-site audit activities. This includes developing a detailed audit plan that outlines what we will review and when. We also need to assign specific work to each auditor, so everyone knows their responsibilities during the audit. Additionally, preparing work documents is crucial. These might include audit checklists, sampling plans, forms for recording information, or questionnaires. All of these preparations are vital because they set the foundation for a smooth and organized audit process. When we approach the actual audit activities, having everything in place allows us to be thorough, systematic, and objective, ultimately supporting the integrity and continuous improvement of the quality system. Let's talk about the audit plan. It's important that the plan should be sent to the auditee prior to the actual audit activity. This way, everyone is prepared and knows what to expect. Additionally, when preparing the plan, we should also mention the findings from the last audit. This helps in tracking progress and focusing on areas that need improvement. Now, when it comes to the audit note, there are a few key components to include. First, an audit questionnaire is essential. It guides the process and ensures we cover all necessary topics. We also need to gather all records and comments during the audit. These details are crucial for a comprehensive understanding of the current situation. Finally, the audit report is an official document that summarizes and reports the audit findings. It serves as the official record of what was observed, assessed, and concluded during the audit process. Proper documentation is vital because it provides transparency and supports any actions taken afterward. Overall, these elements, planning, documentation, and reporting, are interconnected and form the backbone of an effective audit process. They ensure clarity, accountability, and continual improvement. Let's start by looking at the definitions on this slide. First, we have PRPs, which are essentially the basic controls that apply to any food business operation. These controls are universal and necessary across all types of food operations to ensure a hygienic environment. By maintaining these controls, we reduce the risk to food safety. For example, good manufacturing practices, calibration of equipment, and cleaning and sanitation procedures are all PRPs. They form the foundation of a safe food production system. Next, we have the concept of food safety risk. These are the conditions where PRPs, depending on how the operation is run, can directly impact the safety of the food product. These risks are critical because if not controlled, they can lead to hazards in the product. For instance, if pests are present on equipment, they can contaminate the product. Similarly, broken glass or hanging wires on a filler can pose a foreign body risk. These are clear examples of how operational conditions linked to PRPs can directly threaten food safety. Finally, I want to highlight that an audit checklist is a useful tool to evaluate if these controls are in place and effective. It helps us systematically verify our practices and identify any gaps that need addressing to ensure food safety is maintained at all times. Let's take a moment to clarify what we mean by definitions. In this context, definitions are essentially clear explanations of key terms and concepts that are central to our discussion. They serve as the foundation for understanding more complex ideas later on. By establishing precise definitions, we ensure that everyone is on the same page and that our communication is effective. This is especially important because it helps us avoid misunderstandings and sets a solid groundwork for the rest of the presentation. Remember, The goal here is to make sure that these key points are thoroughly understood, so we can build upon them as we move forward. Now, let's talk about conducting on-site audit activities. First, it's essential to start with an opening meeting. This sets the tone, clarifies objectives, and ensures everyone is on the same page. Maintaining good communication throughout the audit is crucial. Clear, respectful, and open dialogue helps gather accurate information and build trust. During the process, roles such as the escort and observer are important. The escort helps facilitate access and provides support, while the observer notes observations without interfering. Next, the steps in conducting the on-site audit include interviewing various personnel. This helps us understand different perspectives and gather detailed insights. We also perform both horizontal and vertical audits, focusing primarily on safety and product quality to ensure standards are met. A key technique we use is the traceback method, which allows us to trace the product or process back through the supply chain or production stages. This helps identify root causes of any issues. As we gather information, we generate audit findings. These can relate to either PRP or prerequisite programs or broader food safety risks. We then determine whether these findings are conformance or nonconformance, basically, whether they meet or fall short of standards. It's also important to differentiate between isolated issues and systemic deficiencies. Isolated problems might be one-off incidents, while systemic ones indicate deeper, structural issues that need addressing. In summary, our auditing activities are thorough and structured, aimed at ensuring safety and quality, and ultimately helping us improve processes and compliance across the board. Today, I want to talk about how we classify the findings from our audits. Essentially, we can put them into two main groups. The first group is compliance, which indicates areas where things are going well. Within compliance, we have categories like satisfactory or adequate, meaning that the processes meet the required standards, and outstanding, which shows exceptional performance. The second group is noncompliance. Here, we identify issues that need attention. Noncompliance can be critical, meaning there's a severe problem that could pose significant risks. Major deficiencies are serious, but not as urgent as critical ones, while minor deficiencies are small issues that still need to be addressed but are less impactful. Understanding these classifications helps us focus our monitoring efforts effectively. By regularly reviewing these findings, we can ensure continuous improvement and maintain the integrity of our processes. This classification system is a key part of our overall audit monitoring strategy, ensuring we identify both strengths to build on and areas that require corrective action. Let's go through some key points about our audit process. First, the objectives of the audit are clearly defined to ensure we understand what we're evaluating and what we aim to achieve. Next, the audit scope outlines the boundaries of our audit, specifying which areas, processes, or departments are included. Identifying the trained auditor is crucial, as it assures that the person conducting the audit has the necessary expertise and qualifications. We also record the date and place where the on-site activities took place, providing context and traceability for our findings. When it comes to audit criteria and findings, we compare what we observe against established standards or requirements, leading us to draw valid conclusions. Remember, the audit report should follow standard formats, usually including details like the name and location of the auditee, the date of the audit, and the audit plan. It should document observations, classify noncompliances, and offer recommendations or expectations for improvement. Importantly, the report should be written against a specific standard to maintain clarity and focus. We focus on identifying deficient conditions rather than criticizing individuals, and we also highlight any positive observations to encourage good practices. The report should be straightforward and easy to understand, ensuring that anyone reading it can grasp the key points without confusion. In summary, a well-structured audit report is simple, clear, and focused on constructive insights that help drive continuous improvement across the organization. Now let's take a closer look at an example of an audit report. As you can see here, This slide illustrates what an audit report might look like in practice. The key points to focus on are how the report is structured and the kind of information it conveys. An audit report typically includes an overview of the scope of the audit, the auditor's findings, and their overall opinion on the financial statements or processes examined. In this example, you'll notice that clarity and transparency are emphasized. It's crucial that the report communicates any issues clearly while also highlighting areas of compliance. Connecting this to our overall theme, the audit report serves as a vital tool for accountability and continuous improvement. It helps stakeholders understand where things stand and what actions might be needed moving forward. Remember, a well-prepared report not only identifies problems, but also guides constructive decision-making. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any questions or need additional information, I'm here to help. Feel free to contact us through the provided channels. And with that, I want to thank you all sincerely for your time and attention today. I appreciate your engagement and look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you again.